The creative spirit is a blessing and a curse. You really do see things differently than perhaps others do. I think you're built differently. There's probably more readily available emotion if you're a creative person. If you think back about places you've been where you felt good about being in that room, and you think about places that you didn't feel very good being in that room, places that were inspiring or invigorating or impacted you somehow, made you feel just great, uplifted and so forth. That's what real architecture can do, is to offer and provide those circumstances where you realize that there's something different here. And that's the difference between architecture and buildings. Buildings are just to take the water off of your head. Architecture is really about inspiring you to have an experience. I was raised in a family with an older brother who was real interested in Elvis, who was real interested in hot rods and drag racing and that sort of thing. And so I got really interested in cars. And as a young boy, I built lots of plastic model cars. And I had no real understanding about what that was going to mean to me over my lifetime. But to this date, there's plastic in almost every project that I do that's unbeknown to me, in the sense that I don't try to do that, it just sort of happens. And so those early days were about creativity in the purest sense of the word, building model cars as my extension of a creative point of view. Channeling creativity is about trying to find a place where you put it. And I think always I imagined a way to engage in the creative process. And I was introduced very, very early to drawing, and I've been drawing all of my life. And my mother kept many, many of my drawings, and I would be drawing cars, which would be the logical thing. Well, that drawing of cars translated then to buildings and the neighborhood and all those kinds of things. The computer basically has allowed us to be limitless. There is nothing that holds us back today. My ideas begin in a sketchbook, and then I sit down with one of the people in my office, and we translate those sketches into a real building. And it becomes a three-dimensional digital model. And so that technology has allowed us to do forms and shapes and expressions today that we never imagined. When families come to Oklahoma City, the husband and wife and children evaluate what kind of community it is. Is there dance? Is there art? Is there music? Is there great education? Is it a place where my children will get the best that we can possibly offer them in terms of their abilities to grow? And architecture is a part of that. And all of those things ultimately add up to a quality of life question and answer. And I think we've begun to realize that all those things, all the details, are vitally important in who we are as a community. And it tells you how we feel about ourselves. It tells you that we believe that we deserve that and have earned that right. And I think there were times when Oklahomans felt like that maybe they didn't deserve that. And today, not only do we deserve it, but we're demanding it. And I think that's making our community better. I think that the architecture in Oklahoma City has continued to evolve. I will tell you that some of my favorite buildings are literally from the 50s. The Gold Dome at 23rd and Classen, fabulous center. The tower is modeled after Frank Lloyd Wright's tower in Bartlesville. So we have influences just like 23rd and Classen. We have Bruce Goff. We have the great buildings of Solomon Andrew Layton, who did the state capitol, who did Classen High School. He's done the Heritage Center, which I had the pleasure of working on. Those are incredible legacies. I think that we're so fortunate to have the Devon Tower today. What an amazing building that is at a very, very high quality. I feel like that what was done at the Chesapeake campus is a world-class facility. I feel like what's been done at the river is in the same category. And I think that we're continuing to build a higher quality project and series of buildings in Oklahoma City because we're maturing as a community. every time we go someplace, Jeanette and I go someplace, we'll be in New York or LA or Chicago or whatever, and we're always looking for gloves. And we'll be someplace, we'll be in a subway, we'll be whatever, and there'll be a glove. And I always have my camera, and there'll be a photograph. And so someone has been through that point, and they have left a little message about themselves or whatever, about their skill, their capabilities. And I just find that incredibly inspiring because I can translate that into building a business, building a building, someone working for a living with their hands. It's admirable. It's honorable. And that sort of thing inspires me. People need inspiration. They need a reason to get up, go to work, do what they do. And art does that. Architecture does that because it's positive and it's optimistic. And we need optimism today, desperately. And I hope it comes back.